This message is for Devon Farfan, Chief of Parking Enforcement and Traffic Control for the City of Los Angeles. Hello, hola, shalom, konnichiwa, annyeong aseo. My name is Gabriel Levin. I'm a lifelong Angelino, proud American, and recent recipient of a $68 parking ticket. I'm reaching out to you to present my case for why the citation I received should be reversed. I feel compelled to mention that this ticket comes at a very bad time for me, as I've been planning on purchasing a bongo. While I'm no longer in the financial position to purchase the instrument, I believe the bongo can offer us some important guidance on how to handle the situation at hand. You see, originally I'd intended on buying a djembe. However, while I was at the music shop, a man by the name of Jahid overheard me playing the bongo and asked that I accompany him in a practice room. Together, Palestinian and Jew, we jammed out in peace and harmony. And it was at this moment that I realized that while I wanted a djembe, it was a bongo that I needed in my life. Because while I am a musician, I am a man of peace first. And if this instrument could bring together two supposed enemies in the basement of a guitar center, imagine what I could do with it on a global scale. Chief Farfan, as you listen to the rest of this message, I ask that you be a bongo. That you listen to my argument through the lens of someone who wants to make positive change in this world. Someone with a sense of empathy and forgiveness. Chief Farfan, in a world of djembes, it's people like you who we need to pick up the mantle and carry us to a better tomorrow. Before I continue, I want to make it clear. I parked in front of a fire hydrant. I am guilty of the crime for which I have been ticketed, and I do not believe that I am above the law. I'm not here to convince you of my innocence, but rather to demonstrate that I committed the crime unknowingly and had only the best of intentions, and that because of this, I should be forgiven. Chief Farfan, I stand before you at the scene of the crime, where I will now present to you my case. If we take a look at Exhibit A, you'll see that the curb next to the fire hydrant where I parked and received the ticket is not painted any color. However, if you take a look at the picture on my left of a fire hydrant located just a few feet away from where I currently stand, you'll see that it is accompanied by a red painted curb, indicating that parking there is not permitted. In fact, a quick Google Images query shows definitively that this is not an anomaly. If you take a look at the pictures on my left, you'll see that fire hydrants are nearly always accompanied by red painted curbs. I've always been told that I can't park in front of a fire hydrant, but the lack of red on the curb seemed to be telling me otherwise, which brings me to Exhibit B. Located just a few steps away from where I currently stand, lives an extremely wide and roomy driveway, large enough for, say, a fire truck? You see, the reason I thought I could park in front of this fire hydrant was because in the event of a fire, the firefighters would be able to access the hydrant via the driveway. Clearly, I was wrong, and by parking here, I was apparently obstructing access to the hydrant, for which I am deeply sorry. As an act of charity, I dedicated a day's worth of work coming up with a way to make sure no one ever parks here again and hinders the work of firefighters, which I am honored to present to you now. Whenever one tragedy occurs, I like to counteract the negativity by creating two forces for good. Perhaps out of this tragedy, in addition to preventing future parking crimes, I can also bring a little love into this world. In order to make sure everyone sees my sign and is alerted that parking here is not permitted, I'll be making sure that my sign completely covers the hydrant. I will now place the sign on the hydrant. Farfan, I ask that you dismiss my parking ticket and that instead I donate $40 to the nonprofit organization Mothers Against Drunk Driving. As someone with a mother, the mission of this organization is near and dear to my heart, and I sincerely hope that you rather save the life of an innocent victim of drunk driving than receive $68. I understand that you have every legal right to refuse my request, but I ask, what side of history do you want to be on? The side of greed or the side of empathy, forgiveness, and justice? I'd like to conclude this message by performing a song of unity that I believe is befitting of this moment. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm no longer in the financial position to purchase a bongo, so instead I will be performing the song accompanied by maraca. We are one, we are the world. Let us put down our guns and knives and instead put up one another, 'cause we are the world, one big community. Let us put down our guns and knives so life doesn't come one big